Okay, YouTubers, let me tell you some more stuff. When I was a pup, when I was 12 years old, we moved to March Air Force Base in Riverside, and that was one of the main B-52 bases, B-47, B-52 bases. And we had dozens, hundreds, I don't know, we definitely had dozens and dozens of those things. Awesome airplanes. I said a little bit about this when we did the Pima Air Museum earlier in the show, in the YouTube series. It's so big, it's an amazing airplane. Now we're headed off to the Cold War Gallery, and we're going to see the one airplane I've been wanting to see. What is it? Cold War. Checkpoint Charlie. I have. Checkpoint Charlie is where the Russians went into Berlin and built a fence around it to keep the people from running away because they didn't want to be in communist controlled area. And this is an example of one of the checkpoints that how they controlled access and egress from Eastern Berlin, or East Berlin. And I went through it. I was there. They made you buy some crummy old their marks and go over to East Berlin. I've been there. This symbol in my youth is all over the Air Force bases I lived on as a pup, because my daddy was in SAC, Strategic Air Command. And this airplane that it's on, this is the one I came to see. This is one of the most amazing airplanes. You take 1940s technology and you try to make it do something it doesn't want to do. E-36. Peacemaker. You gotta love the Orwellian name. This thing's designed specifically to go from one continent to the other with a nuclear bomb load. So we named it the Peacemaker. That's following the deterrent logic. 2, 3. 3 engine? No, they got 3 on each side. Biggest piston engines they had at the time. Backwards. But wait, there's more. There's a pair of jet engines too. And there's 2 more on the other side. So we got 6 piston engines and 4 jet engines. Wow. Minor complaints. This thing needs to be sitting alone. It's so cluttered up with airplanes underneath it, you can't get a feel for the perspective. It's a huge airplane. And it really didn't want to do what they had it to do. They couldn't get it to go back. They were going to send it to Russia and blow the heck out of Russia, which was really cool, except it didn't have enough fuel to come back. So all the crews knew that after they went and bombed Russia, they were going to have to bail out. That took some psychological counseling to send the guys out on that mission, I think. I guess they did it because they thought it would never happen. Like all mutually assured destruction logic. We thought, well, if we do this crazy shit, maybe the other guy will back off. It appeared to work. Maybe they're right. I wouldn't have wanted to been in one of the crews of those things, though. B-29, one of my faves. It's a B-50. They re-engined the B-29, made it a B-50. Over here, what do we got? That's a C-97, okay? It may be a KC-97, I can't tell. But if you look real close, the top half kind of looks like horizontally. If you cut the top of it, it looks a lot like a B-29, and they just took another half and put it on the bottom. Can you kind of see that little seam under U.S. Air Force? The thing about the KC-97 was that it was the last of the piston engine stuff, and they made it into a tanker for the big bombers. Well, it worked fine with the B-29 because they were matched. But when they brought the B-47 and the B-52 out there, those were really fast airplanes. And to get a B-52 fully fueled, the pilot had to fly it just about at stalling speed. Meanwhile, the guy in the KC-97 had all the engines firewalled, going as fast as he could. So what they'd do is they'd gain a little altitude and then head downhill. And the KC-97 is going as fast as it can, and the B-52 pilot is working the rudder pedals as he would fill up and the thing wants to fall out of the sky. And then finally they'd just pop off to the side. Real common and scary deal. They were definitely wanting to replace that thing with a jet, a refueler, as soon as possible. An airplane, one of Richie's favorites, B-58 Hustler. Remember that movie with Paul Newman? I think that might have been the reason they called this airplane the Hustler. See that big thing underneath it? That's a nuke, boys and girls. This was serious music. B-58 shots. Assembly. Look at that wheel and tire. Look at that strut. Wow. Big, huh? Failed design. They replaced it with this 4-wheel setup. It was just too big and unwieldy. He wants to see a nuclear bomb.